us have been vouching for the efficacy of Covaxin. Everyone in India has been calling out the vaccine racism, which earlier many countries, leading by the UK, resorted to. Of course, there is a study which has debunked all the myths, all the fears around Covaxin. Dr. PSV Rao is joining us on the same. He has written a lot about Covaxin, its efficacy. Sir, you've been vouching for Covaxin. Of course, the latest Lancet report, the efficacy reports as far as Covaxin has been coming in, have only reasserted our claim. You have vouched for vaccine and have also said many times that it's better than other vaccines available, perhaps as compared to even Covishield, Pfizer, or even Moderna. What is the basis for you saying the same, sir? What would you say or claim about the efficacy of Covaxin, sir?
When we use a whole virus, the immune system is exposed to the entire virus. It is like familiarizing with your face. Okay. So I'm able to recognize you by your whole face. Whereas when you use a spike protein, there are two variety. I mean, there are multiple ways of doing that. One is like in the mRNA technology. The other is like the technology used for Covishield, which is called a viral vector vaccine. You are exposing only to the spike protein. What are the ways, different types of vaccines, technologies? Let's first understand that. And I had made a table of it and put it up in one of my articles in the Sunday Guardian. There is, for things like tetanus, we use only the toxin which the bacteria causes, because the bacteria doesn't cause an infection. It is the toxin which causes the problem. So we have a toxoid vaccine that is specific to a particular toxin, like we have snake venom vaccine. So we'll leave that out, because that is not concerning COVID-19. In COVID-19, we are having a proper infection. And there is one is like this. This is the most traditional one is actually using a attenuated live vaccine virus, where a live virus is used in the vaccine, but it is attenuated so that it can't multiply and it can't cause a problem, or a very similar virus is used. And the classical example of it was the very first vaccination which was done, that was for smallpox, using cowpox. So a very similar virus, or the actual virus which is attenuated so that its enzymes required to multiply are gone, and it can only cause an immune system. Now, that has also not been the case here, because it would be a bit dangerous. We don't have a similar alternative which is safe enough, so we have not used that. Then comes the attenuated, the killed vaccine. In killed vaccine, you multiply the virus, kill it, and like I said, you have the whole face to recognize rather than a part of the face. What are the problem with this? Problem with this is the regulation for such a virus is enormous. It is not like the other virus vaccines which I'm going to come to. Here, you are actually multiplying the deadly virus. If there is a leak in your production system, you are going to have a huge outbreak. So the safety requirements for this are huge, and the regulations are also very, very strict. And Bharat Biotech and ICMR had to go through, basically Bharat Biotech had to go through all these regulations. They can't suddenly in a hurry give you the vaccine. And each batch is thoroughly tested to see that the virus has been fully killed. There is no live virus left in it. So if Bharat Biotech produces a batch of vaccines today, by the time it goes through all the tests and comes into the market and comes to you, it will be a few months, 2, 3 months, 4 months. It won't be much faster than that. Now, what is the advantages of this? We'll first go to the advantage, then I've mentioned the disadvantage. The disadvantage is basically in the safety requirements during production and during testing and the regulations involved in it. But after that, it needs ordinary refrigeration. It doesn't need very cold temperatures. Ordinary refrigeration. Plus, once you take it out of the refrigeration in the field, where suppose you are going door to door vaccinating, then it has got a much longer shelf life. And so for large countries like India, poor countries, places where you can't get all this high freezing temperature refrigeration, this is a great advantage. And as far as the immune reaction is concerned, whereas with the live vaccine, like it has been used in polio and smallpox, your immune reaction is very, very strong. With the attenuated, with the killed vaccine, the reaction is not as good as with the live virus. This is killed virus, the reaction is not as good as that, but definitely far better than giving a spike protein or a subunit protein and causing the reaction. So this is the advantage, disadvantage, and this is why many of us doctors were wanting to have Covaxin, but then in January, when we were all given vaccination, Covaxin was still in phase 3 trial. So we all were given Covishield, and we have taken that. Then let's come to Covishield. Now, Covishield is a classical carrier virus vaccine. Here, what is done is you produce the spike protein, put it into a carrier virus. Now, that virus should be a similar virus, but which doesn't cause infection in humans. So what they have done is they have taken coronavirus, which infects other primates, and then inserted in it.
Yeah.
Now, we will come to the difference between Covishield and Sputnik. Now, what the Russians did in Sputnik was, if you put this into if the virus is the same in the first and in the second dose, what happens is the immune system can destroy learns to destroy not only the spike protein, it learns also to destroy the entire virus in which you have given it. So what did the Russians do? They used a different coronavirus. They used one virus for the first dose and another virus for the second dose. So the first and second dose were different. But the problem they ran into is they found it very difficult to, in the laboratory or in the manufacturing, to multiply the second virus. End result was they had very slow production. They had real issues with the second dose. And to cover up for that, they said, okay, use the first dose only, and it is called Sputnik Light. Whereas in Covishield, we have the same virus carrying the spike protein. Both the first dose and second dose is one and the same. There is no difference between the two.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is the best vaccine to get? Most of us have gotten the first vaccine already, but those who are left, which will be better in your view? mRNA, spike protein, which one would you suggest from your experience, sir?
Yes, see, COVID-19 is recent. The vaccinations are very recent. So there is no way we will know the long-term results of any of these vaccines. But theoretically speaking, based on the technology of these vaccines, and also the fact that this kind of technology has been used in the past. mRNA has not been used, but carrier vaccine has been used for Ebola. And inactivated vaccine, or the dead vaccine, has been used for hepatitis A, flu, polio, rabies. So we do have some idea how effective these technologies are. Based on that, and the fact that we don't know what this newly used mRNA technology does, we would say that if you were to ask me right from the beginning, me and a lot of doctors have preferred Covaxin. It's a different matter that we all ended up getting Covishield. Covishield is my second choice. mRNA is something I would avoid, because I am wondering what will be the long-term safety of this vaccine. And it is now already obvious that in Western countries where mRNA was used, its efficacy has already dropped. There is already statistics showing that within 6 months, its efficacy has dropped, and they are having to give a booster third dose. As to, I'm sure you will next ask me, do we need to give a booster for Covaxin? We will know it only after a few more months.
All right. Thank you, sir, for joining us on NewsX. So whether needed or not, we'll know in a few months from now on. But of course, many of us in urban areas, especially, and those who've got 2 doses. Many of our viewers wanting a booster dose, asking our government to expedite the process. But of course, an expert committee is looking into it. The panel's looking into it. Let's wait a little bit, perhaps in a few months, as Dr. PSP Rao also says, we'll know whether we need booster shots or whether we're getting booster shots in India or not. Thank you for joining us, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.